Welcome back to our tutorials. This is tutorial number 3, Baby Onesie Cakelet design. We started exactly as we did last time with our other design, and we baked our cake in a brownie pan because that way you have less waste and you can save the cake batter for your cupcakes. So you can just use this pan. This is what it comes out looking like. I've chilled it a little bit so it's easier to cut. And then what I did is I cut out a template so I can carve around the template and have a perfect baby onesie design. And if I made 10, they would all be exactly the same. So templates are the way to go when you're making a cakelet. This is the template that I've made for the baby onesie. And one thing that's important is you know, you want to make sure that it's not too big or too small. So I use the palm of my hand as a really good judge to make sure that this is going to be a true 1 to 2 serving cake. Take your template and place it on top of your cake, and just with any kind of a steak knife that has a good blade, start to follow the pattern. As I said, it's always good to use some kind of like a nice thick cardstock or cardboard or something so you don't wind up cutting your template up, and that way you can reuse it if you have to. So what's great about these cakelet designs is that this here design could go to the mommy-to-be at a baby shower, and then all the guests can get coordinating cupcakes with decorations on them that match the design. It could either be colored circles, polka dots, monograms, but the main design is fabulous, and that goes to the person you're celebrating. Once you've cut it, you just make sure that you've cut straight down. I tend to cut on angles, so I have to go back and clean it up, but it doesn't take much time. Okay. You peel your cake off and voila. One extra step I like to do when making mini cakes is a little secret. I like to take my knife, no matter what the design is. It could be my dresses, it could be purses, but I like to take the knife and on a 45-degree angle, cut away the bottom part of the cake. And why I do that is when you put your buttercream on and you roll your fondant over, it tends to have more of a natural contour by giving it some space for it underneath your cake. So I do recommend doing that. You'll see a difference in how the design looks. Next thing you do, after you throw your knife, is you creme coat. So we're using a vanilla bean buttercream. Fabulous. And I always start on the edges, and I use a tapered angled spatula. It's like one of my favorite tools to use. And I start on the sides, and I do the top last because, as I said in the first video, if you do the top first, you have nowhere to hold the cake stable. And then I do the top last. Now remember, you don't have to get this absolutely perfect. So I'm just going to smear it so it goes over the edges, and then I go back around once the top is done and buttercreamed, and scrape away the excess. The shape isn't too complex either, so this is rather easy to cover. And as far as decorating this design, you can see the sky's the limit. Let's see, look what I do. That's no big deal. So you come back around and we're just going to smooth that look like it never happened. Okay. After you've creme coated your onesie cakelet, it's ready to be covered in fondant. Today, we're going to make this a onesie for a baby girl. So I have this pink color here. It's kind of bubblegum looking. And I'm just going to soften it up. Alright, I have my cornstarch down because you don't want this sticking because it's a big pain in the rear end. You know what I'm talking about too. You know, we've been there. Okay, so I'm going to roll it out. Not too thick, because nobody likes ODing on fondant. Okay. Voila. Then you take it, I put it on my hand, like so, keeping a flat hand so that way my fingers aren't going to poke through. And then I gently place it on top of the cakelet. Once you do that, just like a regular cake, you start to flatten the top and the edges. Once you do that, start smoothing the sides down. And you can see the design starting to kind of come to life. Now the idea with cakelets is to make a really wonderful design for the person you're celebrating. That's not to say you couldn't do 25 cakelets, but as you can see, that would be a bit ridiculous as far as being time consuming. And what makes the cakelet so cool is that, you know, the guest of honor is going to get this really great design. And everyone else can celebrate that and also have their cupcakes with really great paint designs on it. And it all matches nicely. So once you have your cake covered, your cakelet covered, it's ready to cut away the excess. I try to use the roller as much as I can. And then for these little details here, I use my X-Acto. Now if you mess up cutting it or you cut it cockeyed, you're not going to see it, so it's no biggie. There's a sharp edge, I cut that away also. And I like how janky I put on the blade, do you see that? Makes no sense. All I do is swoop around and I just cut out that side. Same here. Cut out, and then if you see any points, you want to kind of cut them back. So as you can see, we got a little onesie now. Cute. Now it's time for the details. From here you can do anything. You can put polka dots, stripes, a little special design that you can cut out using some of your fabulous cutters that you own. Today what we're going to be doing is I'm going to show you how to do a monogram on the baby onesie in a really easy way. It's a no-brainer. Okay, so I'm going to take some pink fondant. We're going to roll it out nice and gentle. Perfect. And this is going to be the part that goes from here and you snap up here for when you change the diaper. Now if you're not sure as far as how big to make it, this is really easy. I'm just going to take a paintbrush with some water and I'm going to apply some water right there because water is the glue of fondant. Then I take this piece and I lay it over top. Like so. And that way it's easy to get it pretty centered and then you just cut away your excess rather than trying to measure everything up. It doesn't pay to do that. Okay. So for now you can use royal icing to pipe in snaps. You can use your flower tips this end and you can simply poke 2 circles into it like that. That's kind of cute. It gives you that texture, which is kind of neat. Usually I like to just push it down like that and then I'll pipe in the 2 little snaps there, and that's fine.